So as mentioned earlier, today is the start of COP28, that climate meeting being held in the UAE. Let's unpack this with Wendel Trio. He's a climate change science and policy analyst and the former director of Climate Action Network Europe. He joins us from Brussels. Wendel, good to have you on the program. So what are your expectations for this COP28?
Well, expectations are limited, as always, with these big international gatherings. It's clear that we need to make substantial progress, both in terms of how to further reduce greenhouse gas emissions. That's an important topic on the agenda in many different forms. And the second item is how can we, or in particular the rich countries, how can we increase provision of financial support to developing countries, also to reduce emissions, but also in particular to deal with the impacts of climate change. So those are big topics. We're hoping to make substantial progress, but the final solution will take many years.
Wendel, one of the criticism of these COP summits is that they're all talk and little action. Do you agree with that?
Well, obviously, it's extremely hard to come together with 190 countries that have all very different needs and aspirations, and to come to a common conclusion. So yes, it's a lot of talk to come to little gains, and most importantly, the real action will need to take place at the national level. That's where governments will need to take responsibility. But it's an important sign if they can agree on something at the collective international level. It's an important sign that something needs to happen at the national level, and it will be useful for activists, for people who are concerned about climate change, to make use of those international agreements.
And Wendel, just quickly, this COP is being held in the UAE. There was already controversy ahead of it starting, with allegations the government was trying to use the meeting to negotiate oil deals. Do you think this has a big impact on the summit itself?
Well, it definitely is not positive that these kind of messages come out, and it will definitely raise a lot of pressure, I hope, on the presidency from the Emirates to really make something of this COP. An important point of discussion is whether countries can agree to phase out fossil fuels. That has been already discussed at last year's COP in Sharm el-Sheikh. This will be continued, and let's hope that we can make a breakthrough there. But the presidency might be a block rather than a support there. That's really one issue of concern to many.
Yeah, definitely breakthroughs are needed and hoped for. Wendel Trio, thank you so much for your analysis.